Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. I am your host, Elizabeth. I am joined by my co-host, Marcus, and a special co-host today.
Cat.
Yeah. She's in a bit of a mood, so she's not looking at the camera. She was a couple seconds ago, but I think she got a little shy.
Understandable.
She has no arms or legs, unfortunately. As you can tell.
Disappointing.
Yeah. Get a job. Complete ignorance.
Freeloader.
Anyways, happy NXT.
I like today. It was good.
I liked today and I hated today, and I'm...
What could you have possibly hated about today?
Well, they've got a pounding headache for one. And most of it's caused by just the lack of any, I guess, real fights tonight.
We had some real fights.
We had one.
No, we had three. We had three good ones.
I mean, fights that are in some way related to what we saw at TakeOver.
Well, we
really only got promos.
I mean, gotta move on. A lot of TakeOver was ending stories, and we're kind of picking up anew today.
Lip gloss I wanted. The perks of not having my glasses on is that I just grab shit and I'm like, this isn't really where I wanted to be. And I guess I have to be here. So, all right. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell if it's because of baseball or if it's because of PMS or if it's because of literally anything. I just wasn't enthused tonight. I just wasn't vibing on it. But alas, there are some things that have allowed my little brain to run amok, so I like a little bit of speculation.
Okay.
You want me to jump into the news?
Yeah.
I know when you stop responding to the things I say that it's time for the news.
I'm just letting you say what you gotta say. I don't want to interrupt you.
There's Cat.
Cat.
She
How do you do,
so
Cat?
Mad. How do you do? Oh.
Not good.
Okay. What is your answer? We are once again working with a tripod that is 3 times my fucking height. I don't know how we got here.
You're the one who sets it every time.
And I keep forgetting how to do it, honestly. There are so many times, and it's the littlest thing that annoys me, but there are so many times I'll go to set this up, and I'll realize that instead of fully extending the middle part of a leg, I fully extended the top part. And I'm just like, all right. And I know I can, work with it still, but I always have to just fix it. Drives me crazy. All right, news. So I guess let's start with the bad news and move on to the slightly better news, I guess.
Okay.
So as everyone knew, as TakeOver, there were some fans, and there were some fans tonight, in the crowd. The WWE has now been given, not just the WWE, sporting teams in Florida have now been given by the wonderful, insanely brilliant, completely fully functioning man, Governor DeSantis down there, been given the green light to officially hold full capacity events. So happy second wave of COVID, everyone. We're here. I hope you enjoyed being in quarantine, because we're still going to be in quarantine.
It's pretty much like we haven't hit the pandemic yet. We're still getting there.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know. 'Cause I guess I was going to say at the end of the day, I guess the only people that are going to get sick are the idiots that go to these things.
But then they're going to get other people sick.
Yeah, but then I thought about it and I was like, well, yeah, but then they leave the stadium. And I also can't imagine that a stadium or like something like the Amway Center, if it's all contained air, I feel like that's got to be like a breeding ground, basically. But yeah, so that's our first piece of bad news. Vince officially hatcheted the Angel and Andrade relationship, so I want to be upset, but I guess at the end of the day, it's kind of for the best. I'm actually not that bothered by this at all, now that I think about it.
Yeah, if you think about like what they've been getting this whole time, it's probably for the best. They've had the same fights over and over again. With Angel kind of the only one getting any kind of story out of it, but even then, it was only with Demi. And maybe he'll be picked up by SmackDown at the draft and given more story.
I think at this point, the best move that they can do is, they split up Buddy and Seth pretty much. It looks like Humberto and Dominic have kind of been doing a little more taggy stuff, which is probably for the best because once Seth is like more concerned with Buddy than he is with Dominic, like, what's Dominic gonna do?
Right.
So then we would just have, because we don't have Viking Raiders, we've got the Street Profits, which is good. Like we super don't have Viking Raiders now.
Yeah.
But there's Street Profits, there's Dom and
Dolphin
Humberto.
Robert.
Dolphin Robert. And maybe more going into Friday and Monday. I just think that it's better. I feel like that gives us a nice room for shifting. And I've always enjoyed Andrade matches and Angel matches when it's just them.
Yeah.
I don't think that we need that drama. I just kind of like hope that we get some closure at least. Because if Angel just comes back and he's like, I'm a singles wrestler now. Who's Andrade? I don't remember. Then it's going to be like... But that also makes me believe that one of them is getting called up. Or not called up, moved over.
Yeah. With the whole draft, it's always like bizarre to me. Because they make it seem like this big sporting... Like it's a sports draft. Like everything's spontaneous and like... We're picking up this person because we picked them, not because we think it'll be better for their ratings.
It also just like makes me feel like it's almost like you've been working weekend shifts for a really long time, and then your boss is like, "I'm moving you to Mondays and Tuesdays." And you're like, "Oh, okay, that's it." It's still it's the same thing. It's not like the Marlins calling someone from the Dodgers over to them.
Right.
You're going to the same goddamn place right now anyways. It almost made more sense like when they were touring in different places, but like whatever. I am excited to see how it goes. And I guess just because we're on the topic of the draft, it's more than likely that NXT not only will be part of it, but Johnny and Candice will be called up.
I figured they would be called up. I'm wondering what the evidence is for NXT being a part of it, because everything I've heard said that it's very much unclear whether they are or not.
Basically, the article I said didn't really give reason for believing this, but it gave notice that basically they it's in the plans is basically what they said.
Okay.
So again, I don't really know if we're going to know anything about whether NXT is part of it or not until the draft is actually happening.
Yeah.
So, and then Kevin Nash is going to be in a movie, a comedy movie. I guess he's carved out a little space for himself in the acting world. He's going to be in a movie called Chick Fight. And my God, does the lineup sound amazing. Bella Thorne, this person, I have no clue who they are. Malin Ackerman.
I don't know who that is.
And yeah, I have no clue either. But the effervescent and always lovely Alex Baldwin will also be in it. Now, I don't know.
Wait, Alex Baldwin or Alec?
Let me see.
It's Alec. Okay,
so before you say anything to me, I read the article and it said Alex. However, I'm looking up Alex Baldwin and there's no such thing.
Watch, it's like the fourth Baldwin brother, Alex.
Must be nice to be William Baldwin. No one ever talks about you.
Yeah.
Or Daniel, I guess, but Daniel looks like he does on coke. Yeah. Okay, so I think the article meant Alec. I don't know who wrote the article that didn't know the name of Alec Baldwin. Let me look up the movie real quick. Kind of excited because, Ella Thorne. I know, she sucks.
Yeah,
okay?
She really sucks.
She's like the worst, I know, but she's just...
Hey, Mike. Welcome to the podcast.
We're currently talking about Alec Baldwin. So, sorry.
Don't you love wrestling?
Basically, Malin Ackerman looks like Jamie Presley or Anna Paquin, one of those people.
I don't know what either of them look like.
They all look the same. Basically, imagine she's hot. She was in Wolf of Wall Street, blonde hair, accent.
Margot Robbie?
She's one of those.
So
because Margot Robbie's like on the clone truck that went wrong.
Like
with
Emma
Jamie
Stone.
Yeah. She's one of those faces.
What's her name? Samara Weaving.
Sure.
Samara Weaving.
Yeah.
She was in the Babysitter.
Oh. But yeah, so she's got one of those faces. But yeah, so congrats to Kevin Nash. I guess he's gonna have fun. It looks like it might be a good movie. It has a bunch of unknowns and Alec Baldwin, so.
Because that's a great sign. It's
gonna be a trip, I'm sure. Okay, so now let's get into the last two pieces of news. Both very strange pieces of news. I don't know where to start. I'm gonna start with Braun because you know this news, and the next piece you don't know about, I don't think, and I'm excited to tell you. So some people might know if you were on Twitter or if you were on, I think, Instagram. Braun Strowman made a bunch of people kind of freak out the other day because he did like a funny little video, like saying like what I've been doing or what I don't know. It was a life update or something.
It was just a selfie.
Oh, I mean, the caption said like something about something. And there was a hypodermic needle in the frame on like his bathroom countertop.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of people were like, "Hey, Braun, what's up?"
Yeah, I think we mentioned it.
What's that about?
We mentioned it in the podcast on Monday.
We did it because we found out about this yesterday when everything else was blowing up online.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was sitting here. But it turns out we don't have to worry. Thank God. As long as we're believing him, which I want to. Which is Braun can't handle caffeine. So Braun gives himself B12 shots, which a lot of people do when you have some sort of money.
Yeah, he said...
Because I don't know why you wouldn't just take a B12 vitamin.
He said, like, when he drinks too much caffeine, he gets heart palpitations. So that's a very specific excuse for it to be a lie.
Which frankly makes me think maybe that's an Elizabeth's feature. Maybe I can give my old ticker a fucking break. But I just don't understand why you would inject it when there's B12 like tablets that you can take. I feel like injecting it just seems like a very, I don't know. I'll just buy like some CVS B12.
Or as Mike said, just lay off the caffeine.
Actually, that was the other thing I thought about. I was like, is it really that important to you?
Yeah, like if you have to inject it into yourself, like just maybe you gotta chill.
Take a slow wake up. Get up early and kind of ease yourself in. Eat some protein in the morning.
Just eat an apple.
Have a little bit of juice. Maybe he's got a demanding schedule. I don't know. I'm not gonna claim to understand a goddamn thing about that.
I don't know.
I'm just going to believe him because I want to. And I respect him. Just not how he's been treated lately.
Yeah.
Which, also speaking of, the Braun and Fiend angle has been completely dropped after being a main event twice in a row on pay-per-views. But that's fine. We'll give that about as much attention as Vince gave that storyline. Yeah.
They were only the main event to bring Roman back.
It was just such a...
You all have been here for my speculations, my theories on how the storyline should have went. If it had gone that way, it wouldn't have been scratched. We'd still be here. We'd be talking about how amazing the writing at SmackDown is, so...
Alright, well, I don't think one good storyline on top of the Roman storyline would have made me say the writing at SmackDown's good.
No, but you'd have those two and then Sami Zayn. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's only 2 hours.
Yeah.
And also Bayley and Sasha.
Yeah.
And for our final piece of news, going back to Raw, Riddick Moss is terrifying, is where I'm going to start with this news.
Okay.
Riddick Moss, apparently, 2 months ago, mind you, think back 2 months, he's been on Raw Underground several times wrestling. 2 months ago, tore his fucking ACL. Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe he was on main event and did that?
No. What I'm saying is, he tore his ACL 2 months ago and then continued to participate in Raw Underground.
How stupid do you have to be?
I can't even call that stupid. That's psychotic.
That's the reason
It's terrifying.
Ember Moon was out for 14 months because she did that.
I read that article and I just sat there and I was like, okay. Okay. Sure. Of course you did, buddy. Dude fucking terrifies me now. Also, I can't tell if maybe this is taller than me this time because this chair is lower than I normally am.
Mike asked what food or drink is worth either of us needing to take an injection for, because he's still fixated on this. Besides water.
Oh my god, if I could just have an IV at all times that just constantly hydrated me, that would be it. I would need something with like acetaminophen in it constantly.
Well,
that's probably dangerous, but
I hate injections, so I'm gonna say nothing. Nothing would be worth that.
If I were brought down to it, it would probably be like something like leafy greens, because I hate buying those because they always go bad. And they got like hella calcium, so I'd be like super strong and my skin would be glowing. Also, because I don't want to say alcohol. That sounds bad.
That sounds very bad. You sound like you're from Always Sunny.
My dad used to work at a hospital, actually, and he worked night shifts, and they would just hook up IVs to themselves casually to like stay awake over the course of the evening. He worked overnights. Yep.
Okay.
Same man who smashed a wasp against a wall with his bare hands, so.
I think we should move on.
That's Albany, baby.
Oh, God.
Alright, let's get into this shit. Beats, you want to take it away on this one? No? Okay. That's what I'd ask. Anyway.
But today's event was stuffed with like promos and everything. We had a total.
You get your work cut out for each night.
We had a total of 7 fights, which is much more than normal for NXT. But But we did have three, one, two, three. Yeah, three, enhancement talent fights.
I'd like to venture to say that the Leon Ruff fight might not have been enhancement talent.
No, that was Austin Theory as the enhancement talent.
Yeah. I want to give him a little pass on that one there, because for all the shit that we have given, or not shit that we've given Leon Ruff, but for all the fights that we've seen him in, he came out tonight and I was like, oh, Leon Ruff, okay, let's do this. And then he said, oh wait, no, I'm actually a wrestler. And I said, why'd you tell me that? Why'd you say so, buddy?
Also, right before we move into matches and promos, I just want to say congratulations to all of the new trainees that have been signed, including Leon Ruff.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job.
I'm only training so I can fight Corey Graves.
Okay.
Pete's also got accepted. We're going down to Florida together, actually, tonight.
Peace is going to claim the WWE Championship.
Oh, no, she's just going to try to steal a bunch of wrestlers for the PCW.
Nice, nice.
Only one rule. Pepito wins.
We love poaching.
All right, so let's dive face first into whatever the fuck tonight was, because it was a lot of titles. So yeah, shutting it. All right, Tommaso versus Kushida rematch. Didn't end how I wanted it to, but it ended kind of how I wanted it to, I guess. So Kushida starts off by slapping Tommaso, and Tommaso kind of punches him right back. I would call it a slap, but it was much harder and sounded a lot worse. Tommaso then launches Kushida over his shoulder and goes for the crucifix pin, but it's not... Kushida's a wily little fucker. It just doesn't work. Kushida does a hip toss into a drop kick to Ciampa, and then an arm sub on him in the corner before jumping forward and landing on his outstretched elbow. There is now a forearm to Kushida's face, and then Kushida goes for the handspring off the ropes. It always looks so cool, but Ciampa baseman drop kicks him, and it's just like, he's like upside down too. It's just foot to the fucking teeth, and I was like, oh, Kushida, no. There's a headlock on Kushida, and then a neck breaker to Kushida on like Tommaso's femur, more or less. Is this the femur, or is this the tibia?
The femur?
Yeah, the big thick bone.
Femur's in the leg.
Yeah, the one in your thigh, right?
Yeah.
The one that like if you break it, you're like fucked.
I think so.
Cool, good. I know my bones.
I think it's like the longest bone in the body.
Yeah, that would make sense. She's like long and thick, and then like if you break it, like you're SOL. And there's a leg drop onto Kushida's neck. Speaking of femurs, Kushida turns the tide by punching Ciampa in the corner, and then Ciampa Irish whips him into the corner buckles. Gets another neck breaker on him. Kushida tries to take Ciampa down, but Ciampa throws his elbows around. He goes for the Widow's Bell, but Kushida slips free. Ciampa then kicks him into the announce desk. Kushida goes up to the top buckle. He's being lifted. Ciampa goes for the superplex, but Kushida fights him off. And then Ciampa socks him in the fucking face, sending him off the buckle. Ciampa then starts doing some weird fucking shit that like threw me because I didn't get it. He's now on the top buckle looking like he wants to do something. But he keeps looking back at the announce desk. And Vic said that he was looking very much at Wade and not at him. I don't know if that was out of fear and denial.
I think that's one of those announcers joking things. I think it was more so Tommaso wanted to slam Kushida into the table.
That's what I was thinking, and then it just didn't work. And just because the announcers made a point to talk, I was like, But Kushida then wrenches Ciampa's arm over the buckle and secures him. Ciampa's going for the fairy tale ending, but Kushida wiles out, gets free, snaps Ciampa into the buckle, does a snap suplex to him, and then kicks him in the back of the neck. He hits an arm there, but Ciampa goes into the triangle sub and then powerbombs Kushida. There's then a fisherman suplex to Kushida into the cover, but Kushida still kicks out. Ciampa goes for the fairy tale ending again, but Kushida powers out again. Then there's a hard slap to Kushida, which makes Kushida quite pissed. He gets a backslide off onto Ciampa, and a hard fucking right hook, sending Ciampa just crumpled into the ground. He then cinches in the hoverboard lock on Ciampa, and who would interfere but Mr. Quadruple question marks?
Mr. Velveeta Dream.
Actually, wouldn't mind. But the thing is that he gets up to the top buckle with the intention, I believe, of like drop kicking Kushida, but instead he drop kicks or lands on, one way or the other, Ciampa, which is not an enemy I'd like to make personally.
Oh yeah.
The arbitrary DQ rules kick in. Disqualification. Ciampa wins because of that. Kushida seems actually quite pleased about that, and Ciampa seems quite pissed. And then Kushida just kind of brutalizes Dream until Dream scrambles away into the ether.
I like this way of passing on feuds. Kind of like legitimately passing it on. Now it's more so Dream versus Ciampa.
Did you just call him Velvet Dream?
I was about to say Velveteen, and then I just decided to say Dream.
VD. Oh, that's funny. Because VD
VD?
stands for venereal disease.
What's that?
It's an STD.
All right.
You're welcome.
So after that, we had Ember Moon in the ring with her return speech, saying how she wants the title. But then you have a couple other people come out. You had Rhea Ripley come out. Oh no, first you had Io coming out, saying that, like, it's what?
She doesn't get to talk.
Right,
yeah. Get a word out of her goddamn mouth.
She gets interrupted by Rhea coming out. And then Rhea starts talking, saying she also wants it. But then Dakota and Raquel both come out, and they say they want it. And then a fight ensues. And then Io's like, no, if you guys want it, you'll fight for it. And then William Regal comes out and says, hold it, everybody. We're going to have a gauntlet. And then Triple H interrupted him and was like, no, William, I know you're horny for this, but no.
Wait.
This is all backstage. This is happening backstage.
Prior to William bursting out.
This is my headcanon.
Fair enough.
And then William Regal comes out in front of cameras, and then he says, we're doing a tag team match as the main event today. With Ember Moon and Rhea Ripley versus Dakota and Raquel. And then we move on to a little...
The best part of that promo...
Oh, no, sorry.
The best part of that promo is that it didn't quite look like William Regal knew what he was supposed to be doing after he made his announcement, because you see him walk to go backstage, cameras go facing into the ring, and then William Regal is suddenly right back out, just standing at the top of the ramp again. I was like, William, stop. Go back.
But after that, we had a little promo of earlier today. We got Drake Maverick asked about what he's been doing in his free time, and he's been saying, "Oh, I've been going what regular tag teams do, strategizing with Killian and getting our tag team moves right." And then Killian comes in and is like, "No, we're not a tag team. We're not friends." And Trick's like, it's okay. He's Scottish. It's fine.
He calls him Irish.
Oh, he calls him Irish? I thought he called him Scottish.
Yeah. No, I made that joke.
Oh, okay.
I love him. He's so sweet. And so tan. So orange. A little Oompa Loompa now.
Then yeah, he was so spray tanned today. It was so weird. But after that, we had an interview with Io, where she's asked about all of her challengers, and she says, "I'm not worried about Ember. I'm not worried about Rhea. I'm not worried about Dakota or Raquel. What I am worried about, and this is the weird thing, she says, what I am worried about is this, the title." And that makes me think she thinks it's too much on her shoulders.
Well, more so the phrasing of it was, they fucking Mackenzie or whatever her goddamn name is, said, "Why didn't you help Rhea when she got attacked?" And Io was like, "Well, first of all, we stopped being friends like months ago, since like May." She doesn't say that, but that's what I said. And she's like, "Well, Rhea isn't my problem." And then that's when she points at the belt and she's like, "This is my problem." And I was like, that's a weird way to phrase it. Okay.
And then after that, we had a little promo with Undisputed Era, where they're kind of talking about Adam being attacked. Oh no, they're talking about Kyle's fight, and then Kyle's like, I didn't win. I'm so disappointed." And then all of the guys are just like, "No, you did a great job. You made all of us proud. You put up a hell of a fight, and you're a winner in our hearts, and we love you." And that was pretty much that. I mean, I think they also questioned why Ridge attacked them, and they have no idea why.
First of all, you're glossing over the best part, which was the worst black eye makeup job I have ever seen done by any human being on Adam Cole. It just like looked like they took like dark black eyeshadow and like painted it over his face and just like smudged it out.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, at the end of that was really just Adam being like, "Hey, Ridge, you bastard man. Don't know why you fucking attacked me, but I'll kill you. I'll kill you. I have broken ribs now, and I'll kill you." And I said, "Okay. All right, sweetie. Whatever you say." Sad news is, that probably won't be happening anytime soon.
Oh yeah, and I don't know if this is real or not. But we'll get to that when we get there. Now we have our first enhancement talent fight with the losers at 205 Live that I can't stand.
I mean, if you want to call it enhancement talent, I guess we can. Everrise is around just enough for me to be like, oh, they're kind of talent, but
I mean, their record, Matt Martell's record is 0-6. Chase Parker's record right now is
nice.
0-7.
Also me. Look at this little croissant.
Oh, so sleepy.
It's now. No reaction. Stone cold.
Steve
All
Austin.
right, so we got Everrise versus. She is Steve Austin, even though her middle name is Savage.
She has 2 middle names.
Well, technically 3.
I actually knew someone. Oh, sorry. Finish your thought.
Macho Man Randy Savage. Sing.
Okay. I actually knew someone growing up with 2 middle names. I thought it was 3, but no, it's 2.
My dad has 2.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, it's like a confirmation name.
Oh, okay.
That's why people have 2 middle names.
Well,
yeah.
I don't think the guy I knew was a confirmation name. I think he was born with 2 middle names.
To be fair, I think you can give your child as many middle names as you goddamn want. I don't really know if it matters.
Middle name
never
is
had a child, so I wouldn't know.
Middle name's so arbitrary. I don't understand it.
Her middle name changes on a daily goddamn basis, so it's really whatever I feel like calling to her.
Bastard cat.
Anyways. Sweet girl. People are gonna think we're mean to her.
We love her.
Except when she pees on the bed.
Even when she pees in the bed, we treat her like a queen.
Yeah.
We treat her like sorry. We treat her like the soldiers treated Julius Caesar.
Didn't they stab him?
Yep.
No, that was the senators.
Oh,
The senators all stabbed
I
him.
meant the senators, but we.
The podcast Anyways, before this podcast is 4 hours long and it's not even a pay-per-view. So we have the Canadians versus Killian and Drake.
The Canadians.
A completely un-American match. Killian and Drake, first of all, have the most beautiful walkout music now. Drake made a really good call with that. I think it sounds great, and it's fitting.
Actually does sound great.
Yeah, it does. But Killian and Drake get up to the ring, and they're arguing because Killian's pretty pissed off about the music. Killian's the first one in the ring, nothing's happening yet, and Drake's like, tag me in, tag me in, tag me in! And Killian just gets so fucking fed up that he launches his hand into Drake's and slaps the shit out of it. So immediately Everrise 1 tags in Everrise 2. I think that was Charlie Parker tagged in
Chase
Martel.
Parker.
Sure.
Chase Parker is the skinny pale one. Matt Martel is the very loud man bun Tanner one.
Yeah, I called one I think I called one Handsome Everrise and Ponytail Everrise.
Handsome is Chase, Ponytail is Matt Martel, and I can't stand Matt Martel.
I don't like Matt Martel either, but I also think he reminds me of somebody, and I don't know who. But one of them tags the other one in. They're taking advantage of Drew's newly tanned hand, and in more ways than one, because I guess they just kept smacking it around, in spite of the pain he suffered from his tag partner. Drake manages to dropkick Martel, tries to tag Dain in, but he can't, gets slammed into the canvas, while Martel stands over him and screams, "He doesn't even like you." And Killian Dane's just like, not wrong. Chase Parker gets in, and Drake is shoved into the buckle. However, prior to this happening, Martel ran into Killian while he was standing on the apron, and Killian was none too pleased about that shit. So, as Chase begins his attack on Drake Maverick, Killian says, "You know what? No." So he just jumps right the fuck into the ring and kicks Parker in the head. Now that Dain's in, he's just kind of clubbing Everrise around. He gets a crossbody slam to Martel, sentons Mr. Parker, tags in. Drake tags in on the back of Killian as he goes to do what I can only imagine was a frog splash or a senton off the ropes to Parker. Killian is quite pissed off about this. Parker then shoves Drake into Killian and rolls the little blondie up. And once again, Killian's pissed off because he's been run into on the apron a second time. Or actually, he wasn't on the apron. He was still in. But one way or the other. He's been run into a second time. So Killian says, all right, fuck that. Pump knee strikes Parker, power slams Drake Maverick into Mr. Parker in order to get the win. Drake is out of it. But once he realizes, he gets up and he starts doing a sweet little dance. He's having a little fun. And Killian punches him square in the fucking face. Drake is rolling around in the middle of the ring, and Killian goes to leave, and then pauses. And has a come to Jesus moment, where he turns around and decides to grab Drake Maverick's tiny little body and sling it over his shoulder and walk out with him. And I said, friendship? We love friendship. And then we had a promo
Yeah, we had a promo with Toni Storm, where she's basically just talking about how, like, her being back and everything, and what life was like for her when she was gone, and how, huh?
3 weeks ago.
Yeah. How she was like was the best at NXT UK. Um, and how what was it? She I just had it on my mind. She said something
What are you
about
looking for?
she said something about being back. Um, I cannot remember my train of thought right now.
I don't even know where you're trying to go with this.
I don't know. She just mentioned about, I guess, wanting the title or something after being like the
Oh, yeah.
best on NXT UK. Um, it was. I'm not super excited to see her back. I'm more excited for her than Carmella, though.
Yeah. I mean, at least Toni Storm has, like, a personality and seems like a person.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, we've seen her in older matches and stuff, and she's not bad. I think it's really just her accent that throws me a little bit, and I don't know why. But also, this was one of those stereotypical promos, and NXT is really good at these, but where it's just like, in case you forgot, I was really good.
Yeah, she
And it's
talked a
like,
lot
oh,
about
okay.
her time in Evolve. Um,
Yeah.
I'm just
No, Evolution. She was
Evolution.
when she
Sorry.
was part of Evolution. Yeah.
Um, I'm just so wary of WWE bringing back these wrestlers who are kind of reminiscent of that like the Divas era.
Yeah, I get that. I think the funniest part to me was that she was like, I went where no one would find me, Cancun. And I was like, oh, that sounds fucking horrible for you, honey. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
You had to go to Cancun? Hmm. Sad bitch hours. Let's cry about it.
but
When I
after
want no one to find me, I also go to Cancun.
we'll never find you.
I'll be tan as shit. I look like
Uh,
Drake Maverick when I come back.
oh no. After that, we had a little promo with the Garganos. Not home with the Garganos, on the street with the Garganos, walking Padme.
Who
Uh,
was definitely mic'd up.
um, yeah, they're just walking the neighborhood, wearing their lovely little tracksuits. Um, but they definitely want rematches. They're just talking about how, like, they can't believe they lost. Candace was so close to winning. Um, and then they make it to the garage, where they find a TV. A TV with a little note on it that says, I don't remember what it says exactly, but it's from Indy Hartwell. Weirdly, I don't know why she's getting involved. She's like one of the few um, NXT women's wrestlers I don't like. For no particular reason. I just don't like her whole vibe. Um,
Bleh.
yeah, she's boring.
Yeah.
Um, but Johnny doesn't look a gift horse in the mouth and is just so goddamn excited for this. It's all he's ever wanted.
To be fair, he says basically the same shit you just said, where he was like, I don't really like her. What's she get? Like, what's she have to do with sending us a fucking TV? And then he realizes, he's like, oh wait,
Free
free
TV.
TV? Maybe I do like her.
Oh,
Um,
and then after that we had a match.
Probably the craziest shit that I've had to sit through in one day. So let's begin.
And I want to.
Austin.
Sorry,
Go on.
I just wanted to preface this by saying this is two back-to-back matches with nothing in between.
Right on. Um, Yeah, it's very confusing, my notes too. If I was not typing in all caps when the person who came out second came out, I would not know where to start. Leon Ruff was in versus Austin Theory. I expected just about the same Leon Ruff match that we almost always get, where it's Leon Ruff lands one punch and then gets like knocked the fuck out with somebody's shoe.
Yeah.
However, Leon Ruff immediately gets like, was it a Hurricane Rana?
That was a Hurricane Rana, yeah.
Basically jumps up, wraps his legs around Austin Theory's neck, and pulls him down. And I said, "Oh my fucking god!" He is way goddamn faster than Austin Theory could ever imagine being. He's diving in and out of the ropes, climbing on the sides, avoiding Austin. Moves so goddamn fast. He finally lands a massive drop kick and a neck breaker onto Theory. Then he clotheslines the shit out of the guy. Finally, he slips a little bit on the ropes, and Austin Theory just like power bombs him into God only knows what, and pulls off an ATL and wins. However, probably the best Leon Ruff match I think we've seen ever.
Yeah, he said, "I'm signed." Okay.
Oh, bitch, I'll put in the work now. Also, though, my dude is like, he has to be like 5 pounds. Yeah. There's no way he's any more than that.
Let me see if they have a build weight for him, actually.
His build weight, he's probably like 5'9", 95 pounds. I guarantee you.
Leon Ruff. That is not true at all. That is not true.
What?
His build weight is more than me. He is billed as 200 pounds.
Wait, where?
You know,
where does he put it?
You know who's billed at 201 pounds? I think Danny Burch is.
He looks like I could lift him up. And I have the upper body strength of like a dead squirrel. In fact, I think a dead squirrel could probably bench press a little more than I could.
No offense to Leon. We love him. He's, after today, he's very talented.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he can't bench press more than a dead squirrel. I'm saying that he's just very small. He's a very skinny dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the same Montez shit going where I'm like, gravity doesn't apply to you. You have to probably like wear weights in your goddamn shoes so you stay on the fucking earth in gravity's orbit.
Except he doesn't have Tez's height. It says Leon's build height is 5'9".
He's shorter than you and heavier than you.
Wait, ACH. No, ACH. Why when I googled Leon Ruff, it gave me ACH. Yeah, no, that's not Leon Ruff.
I mean, if Leon Ruff ever weighed that much and doesn't now, I'd be even more concerned about him.
Yeah, no,
I don't think they have because I feel like we've had this question before.
Leon Ruff. Okay, I'm not seeing a build weight on his fandom page. So I guess he has none.
Okay. Probably because it doesn't fucking register.
He has no career section on his fandom page.
Not until now, baby.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a perfect division between the two matches. Austin Theory sadly gets the mic and says, "I'm so goddamn fucking powerful. I'm so strong. I'm so strong. I'm gonna own this fucking NXT shit." And then Dexter Lumis comes out.
He said he's the future of NXT.
And I said, if that's the case, sweetheart, I am not watching. I'll stop here. Thank you. But Dexter Lumis comes out and he says, no. Well, he doesn't say it. He communicates it with his eyes. And he says, no, I don't know what you are, but I don't like you.
First, he took forever to come out.
I don't think he was ready. I think they started playing his music and he was like halfway down the fucking hallway. He's like, shit.
He was too busy riffing with Robert Stone.
No, know, he was drawing. But yeah, my sweet boy. My boy is back. Oh, I feel so good.
Seems like he's back with some new stuff too.
Yeah, being cool as fucking hell. Being the coolest guy in Florida.
I saw the cat is too much.
Ma'am, I'm gonna ask you to stop. Nope, she's covering her face actually. You can't see it, the leg is blocking. So Dexter Lumis immediately catches Austin Theory's foot when he tries to kick him and begins clubbing Austin Theory. And I said, okay, good boy. He slams Austin into the turnbuckle and then just fucking... Austin's running at him and Dexter just fucking pounces on him like the raccoon in Elf. And just starts punching the shit out of Theory. Yeah! I have never been this happy before! He then bulldogs Austin Theory right into the center of the ring and does what we all wanted to see and what we've all missed because Randy Orton does it, but just not quite right. He started his little slither, and I said, "You little creep."
You're saying Randy Orton doesn't do the slither quite right?
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm a Loomis head. What can I say?
Loomis head.
I'm hereby naming Dexter Lumis fans Loomis heads. Thank you. Anywho. So Dexter begins his little slither, and I said, "That's my boy. You're so weird." And then Austin Theory tries to get up, starts crawling. Dexter Lumis gets on his back like he's a fucking show pony and begins punching him in the head. And gets a leg drop on Austin Theory's neck. And then does like... I put this in my notes as the sexy safe choke. Don't look at her. Which was... If you've ever learned about safe choking and sex, not to go down this path, you're not supposed to like choke someone. You gotta get like here.
Yeah.
The sides of the neck. Dexter Lumis stands over Austin Theory and like digs his thumbs right into the sides of his neck. And I was like, hot? I'm not going to feel bad about that. Anyways. Theory is thrown from the ring. Once he's back in, he's got some sort of energy again. He does a back-to-belly suplex to Loomis and begins to make fun of him. By like doing the slither thing around Dexter, but he looks stupid doing it, and I don't care for it. He just looks like the ass end of the fucking human centipede. Loomis is in a submission hold. He starts fighting out, clotheslines Austin Theory, who eventually does a standing moonsault onto my sweet boy. Tries to suplex Loomis, but he won't go up. It's successful a second time. Theory then starts talking shit at Loomis, who's just knelt below him, like, you could punch me right now and I'd be fine with it. Her words mean nothing to me. Loomis doesn't enjoy that, so he starts punching Austin. Austin does a takedown on Loomis, starts going for the suplex again, but Loomis is just too fucking strong. And Dexter Lumis does what he does best, which is picks someone up and just launches them down into a spine buster on the canvas. He then monkey flips Theory before executing a slingshot suplex off the top rope, which also have not seen that before. I always think, I've seen all the suplexes now, and then that shit happens, and I'm like, I'll never catch up.
That looked great.
It was so cool. I loved that. Theory is just fucking suffering, but he spears Loomis and then drop kicks him, but Dexter gets back up before Austin Theory can even get back up. Because Dexter Lumis doesn't feel pain. Loomis then just grabs Austin's leg as he tries to crawl away from the fucking monster. Just grabs his leg, yanks him back into the fucking ring as he tries to wiggle away. And then spinebusters the asshole and does what Dexter Lumis does best, which is sleeper hold and just waiting. And once they finally pass out, just petting their head for a second until someone drop kicks him. Who would drop kick him, Mark? Who would drop kick him? Would you like to tell me? Your best friend.
To the moon! Cameron Grimes.
You happy? Are you proud of yourself? We waited this long for Dexter Lumis to come back, and your little friend drop kicks him?
I love his reasoning for attacking Dexter, because he didn't respond to him last week. He just stayed silent.
I just like the idea that Cameron Grimes, who wrestles in the same company as Dexter, doesn't know anything about how Dexter Lumis acts. For those who don't know, last NXT, Cameron Grimes ran into Dexter in the hallway. That was our notice that he was back, and asked where. I think he asked where William Regal was, or where somebody went. He's trying to find someone backstage.
Yeah.
And Dexter didn't respond to him, which apparently has stuck with Cameron Grimes for a week now. Which concerns me. But it is also funny to know that, because after he drop kicked him, Cameron Grimes got in the ring and just was like, yeah, I'll teach you to not respond to me. And I know for a fact that he, Robert Stone, and Dexter Lumis all hang out together outside of the fucking arena. And I was like, y'all must be having a good time. Huh.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm having a good time watching.
Do you think this is when we're finally going to hear Dexter say something?
I hope he doesn't say anything until he gets the NXT championship.
The WWE championship? He just slithers into the ring during a Drew Randy Orton fight, and Randy's like, oh shit, he slithers like me. And then we have a slither off.
He just chokes out Drew for the title.
You know what? At this point, rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go. Fine. I'll regret saying that in a couple days, I'm sure.
Yeah, you will. But after that, we had a little promo with Dakota, Kai, and Raquel.
This fucking promo made me so mad.
Did it?
It was the stupidest shit.
Yeah, they're just explaining why they attacked last week.
No, why they attacked this earlier this evening. That was why
this week. Raquel wants to take care of Rhea, while Dakota needed to let Ember know that she needs to get in back of the line when it comes to the NXT Women's title.
This was the only reason this made me so goddamn mad was because fucking Mackenzie again with the hard-hitting journalism. You know, I don't like being that mean, but she was on a different level tonight. I would never say that about Charlie or even Kayla. However,
she's a distraction.
Snoring. She's snoring.
Oh, disgusting.
But Mackenzie's just like, so why did you guys attack Rhea earlier? And I'm like, have you not been at any of the shows prior to tonight?
You know this is wrestling, right?
Have you not watched the entire feud unfold and how they've attacked Rhea at least 3 separate times prior to tonight?
But after that, we had Cameron Grimes being interviewed backstage, and he's asked why he attacked Loomis, and Cameron just said, people have got to stop messing with me, because I'm going to the moon!
He also doubles down on the freak thing, where he calls Dexter Lumis a freak.
Oh, yeah.
Multiple times. And I was like, Cameron, do you know any other insults, sweetie?
And then after that, they had the aftermath of the Kyle O'Reilly Finn fight, where they kind of just go over Finn's injury, say he will be able to talk soon, but he's going to be out for a little while. And then kind of have some words from Kyle about it. But it's mostly focused on Finn and his injury. But after that, we had a little interview with Ridge Holland, where he's asked why he attacked Adam Cole. And he said, and I quote, "Last week I didn't have a Mercedes. Now I do."
Thanks, Adam Cole.
And he said, and you can thank Adam Cole for that. So that makes me assume somebody put up a bounty on Adam Cole. Pat McAfee.
Right.
Pat McAfee is they're probably trying to bring him into the regular, lineup, and this is probably how they're doing it. It's either
for those of you, can I don't say my assumption. Taking my sleuthing work. Anyways, so for those who were not sitting in the living room with us when we were watching this earlier, which I hope is all of you, ideally.
Stay out of our living room.
Unless you're Pete. Even then, stay out of the living room. Mark's first thing, and mostly I'm sure to annoy me, was, Roddy and Bobby put a hit out on him. And I said, I'm a little too PMSy to respond to that naturally, so I'm not going to. So I didn't. And then I sat there and I stewed and I watched the Yankees lose and I stewed and I thought and I got angry and I kind of got sad for a little while and then I stewed. This was all over the course of 10 minutes. And then I thought, first of all, Roddy and Bobby don't quite seem like the savants that would think, hey, let's take a hit out on our friend. Mostly because I don't really know what they would stand to gain from that at this point. Aside from being like, well, he's going to be a face and we're going to be heels. That doesn't make sense. He doesn't have a title. They're more tag teamy than he is, so he's not really standing in the way there. If anything, you would say that they would take a hit out on Kyle so that he can't get the championship and leave Bobby and their tag team.
Right.
That alone. I was like, well, who is around in NXT that would take a hit out on somebody? Oh, could it be the guy whose backstory is that he was a hitman? So I'm wagering a bet that it might be Karrion Kross. It could be Pat McAfee, because Pat does have very intentional beef with Adam. That seems fair. And there was really nowhere to fit him in prior to that takeover. But I do want to stand firm, and this is not my bias talking, I do want to stand firm that I don't think it's Roddy or Bobby, or both of them. And if it is, NXT has officially made one shit piece of storyline.
Yeah, I think Pat McAfee makes the most sense. Especially since
also because you have like that gang of 4 vampire men that I don't trust.
Yeah, I think Karrion wouldn't send somebody else to attack somebody.
I only said that he would send someone else because technically he's still injured.
Maybe Scarlett.
And it seems like something that Scarlett would be like, I'll give you this amount of money if you go and murder that man.
Yeah.
Because I can't use my firebending powers while my husband is injured.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do not think it's Bobby or Roddy. I don't want it to be them because that's going to break my fucking heart. And also because there are so many other better options that make so much more sense.
Yeah. Well,
also, I don't know where this is going to go, considering what we saw tonight.
there is also the option of it being Imperium.
They are British.
Yeah.
Technically Fabian's Italian, but I heard your fucking accent. I don't goddamn believe that for a goddamn second.
I think they're supposed to be like Richie, I guess. I don't know.
Well, they're supposed to be like upper crust wrestlers.
But I think Imperium is more so focused on Breezango right now, if not just NXT UK.
They don't seem like the type that would hire a hitman. They seem like the type that would be like, I'll kill you myself with my bare goddamn hands.
Yeah, so it's probably either Pat McAfee or Carrion. Pat McAfee so they could build up to a surprise of it being Pat McAfee, or Carrion/Scarlett so that they can have this feud continue while Carrion is still injured.
I think they're also going to have to figure out, I think we're going to find out next Wednesday because of how tonight went.
Yeah.
I don't think that they have another option anymore.
Unless they have a new hitman go after him.
Please, he's already got broken ribs. And we already have that weird picture of his hair in a spiral, okay? I can't handle anymore.
That was so funny. But we still have another promo to get to before the next fight. We have an interview with Damien Priest. It's really nothing. He's just wondering who his next challenger is going to be. That's it. That was all it was. Yeah.
I have an idea of who his next challenger is going to be. Coronavirus. Wear a fucking mask, Damien.
Yeah.
My God.
He said he partied after his match.
And there's all these shots of him at a club. Going to the club.
Anyway, you want to get us into our next fight between Ridge and Danny Burch? Banny Bananagram.
His nickname has not come naturally yet. Please don't force one.
Oh.
So, in this fight, Oni Boni Bananagrams proved himself to be a true ally to the Undisputed Era. That said, I also just, I can't imagine that Bobby and Roddy would have anything to gain from Adam being injured. There's nothing. Sorry. I don't mean to play on this for, this long, but, it's racking my brain. I'm really scared that that's where they're going to go, and I'm going to be mad.
It's not where they're going to go.
Thank you. Anyways. Ridge versus Danny. Not sure why this is happening. I really kind of thought that this was going to be, Ridge versus at least one of the Undisputed Era guys. Specifically, one of the two that wasn't technically injured.
Mm-hmm.
In theory.
An Austin theory.
But it's Danny, so that's cool enough, I guess. He gets an arm sub on Ridge pretty quickly. Danny just starts punching him, but Ridge gets up, throws some rights of his own, and then Danny drop kicks Ridge off the middle buckle. Does a German suplex to Ridge, which is actually quite impressive because Ridge is a very dense-looking man. I can't imagine lifting him over any part of my body. And then clotheslines him. And then gets a crossface on him. And you're like, oh, this looks like enhancement talent? In a weird way. Also, I do want to make a little comment real quick. Ridge's new walkout music and his whole new intro is actually quite good.
Yeah.
I will give him that. The gimmick, though, still don't like it. Don't get it. It doesn't play into anything. We don't need it. Carry on, Ridge. I think I'm anti-coat. I think I'm anti-coats now. I think Sheamus started it for me, and Ridge has continued it for me.
You hated Drew's duster, too.
The duster was stupid. Yeah. The cat just gets flatter and flatter. So then Ridge gets up, does a spine buster onto Danny, and just He pins him, he wins. As he's walking away and getting his cap and his little bully stick, he taps Danny's head with his foot, and Danny suddenly wakes up with the fury of God inside of him and slaps the man, which then prompts Ridge to shove him into the corner and headbutt him multiple times, which is pretty much the same as when the cat comes over and just nuzzles my hand back and forth. Because he just basically, let me demonstrate.
Oh boy.
Say this is Danny's head.
Mm-hmm.
Ridge goes like that the whole time. It looked so stupid. There was no force because he was pulling every single one way before it got to Danny. Which, safety, yeah. But you don't have to do that move.
Mm-hmm. I see her.
And of course, as you had said prior, like, oh, I hope Oni's standing backstage watching the match.
And he was.
Oni Boni Bananagrams comes out and attacks the man with a nasty European uppercut. Ridge then attacks Oni. Oni is mad and jumps over the top rope to attack him. Oni is then brought back into the ring. Ridge is beating him up again. Ridge gets out of the ring because there's 41 referees now saying, hey, can you guys stop? Can you stop? Someone's gonna get hurt. Can you guys stop, please? So as Ridge is leaving for a second time, Oni decides, I'm not dead, and therefore I will continue to wrestle. And once again goes over the top rope, crossbodies Ridge. And it's all fun and games until we come back from commercial. And people that are actually dressed as medical folk that aren't just dressed in faux EMT costumes, like actual medical garb, have come out and put Ridge onto a stretcher, and not with what you would expect from a crossbody off the top rope or over the top rope, which I would assume that would just be a neck brace because that's usually their go-to with that shit. No, his entire leg is in a boot now. So I don't really know if Ridge Holland's going to be able to continue his storyline of being a murder-for-hire hitman.
Yeah. Hope Ridge is okay. But yeah, this is weird. But after that we had the Garganos again. Johnny is admiring the new TV that Indy Hartwell gave them. And also happened upon a USB with the TV. And that USB had a clip of the Battle Royale, the Women's Battle Royale, highlighted with Candice. And basically highlighting the moment where Indy Hartwell saved Candice from two opponents. I forget who it was. I think one of them was Shotzi, the other was Rhea, I think. I don't know. And saved her. And Candice and Johnny were both like, I think I like her.
And Padme's like, I have no clue what's going on.
Yeah. Padme's like, I was the one who saved you.
Can I also make a comment real quick? Uh-huh. Speaking to that, Johnny and Gargano. Johnny and Candice.
Mm-hmm.
They teased on the TV multiple times over this past Monday, that there was going to be a rematch with Johnny and Candice and Io and Damien. They teased that multiple times.
Yeah. I think, well, they said they want a rematch. I don't know if that's the same thing. I just thought that it would actually be happening. I'm glad they didn't, because I don't just want a repeat.
Fair.
But after...
That also makes me think that they're not going to be... Sorry.
Huh?
I was going to say that almost makes me think that they're not going to be taken up. Because they've got this storyline hanging now, and the draft is before the next NXT.
I don't know. Maybe. Triple H is never in the know on what's happening with the draft. It's always Vince's call, so they kind of just have to ride out their storylines and then get interrupted by the draft, so I don't know how it's all going to work, but after that we had Tim Tam Thatchy Thatch's unsanctioned murder time, where he is lecturing his students and saying that life can turn on you, so you have to attack first anytime you have the chance. He tells them a man isn't defined by his losses, but the pain he inflicts. Yeah. So,
Continue. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I feel like we're gonna get a match between Kyle O'Reilly and Tim Tam Thatchy Thatch.
Yeah. So, yeah, because Tim's whole thing was life grinds you down. But basically, that's my job, so I'm going to let it do it to me. And then he stops killing the man that he's killing in the moment, pauses, and looks off and says, I'm not going to let it happen to me. And I said, Timmy? Are you okay?
No, he's not okay.
Do you need a hug?
Is he gonna have a 5-week feud with Oni Lorcan again?
He's going to have a 5-week feud with the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
I hope he's called up to the main roster. That would be the perfect time. He's not in the middle of a storyline right now.
I really just feel like, also with the draft coming up, I'm like, but the storylines on NXT are always so nice and like so well written that I feel like if any of them get called up to the main roster, I'm just gonna be disappointed.
Can you call up like
the whole fucking storyline for so long, and now it's just fighting whoever the fuck is around.
Can you call up writers on the draft too?
There should be like promotions also involved where they're like, we also called up 14 writers from NXT. You're welcome. And we put them all to SmackDown and like 2 to Raw because Christ. Anyways.
But yeah, after that, the Ridge Holland being carried out on the stretcher wasn't until now.
It was my fault. I thought it was after a commercial break.
That's okay. But now we have Xia Li versus Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah, the weirdest goddamn match in the world. Anyways, Shotzi versus Xia. This was very clearly just a match to force whatever storyline they're going with Xia for now. We start with a reverse sling blade to Xia. She kind of comes out with some punches of her own. She sends her knees to Shotzi's face. Shotzi's on the second rope and sends Xia down to the canvas into a face buster. And then she jumps down, sentons Xia to win. It's a very quick match. And then a man who has a name that I don't know, but he's apparently somebody.
Boa.
Yeah, Bo something.
Boa.
Oh, okay, cool. So Boa comes out and hands Xia Li an envelope, and she looks quite concerned and fucks off.
Real quick, let me look up who Boa is. Boa, WWE. He's a Chinese professional wrestler. Works on NXT. November 15th, he underwent shoulder surgery for a torn rotator cuff. And that's the last piece to his age. So he's just a wrestler, so maybe they're planning like a mixed tag or something, or faction, I don't know.
I don't know. It was very weird.
Yeah.
There's so much shit happening right now in this world. Just seeing that, I was like, all right, sure. Why not?
But now we have the main event today. And Ember Moon has new music.
Yeah, it was a really decent main event.
Yeah, I agree.
So Ember and Dakota are first in. Ember stomps on Dakota and then sentons onto her. She gets her into a wrist sub into a snapped elbow. Raquel finally gets in. She powerbombs Ember. Ember drop kicks Raquel. Raquel gets Dakota back in. In all of their fighting, Dakota ends up outside the ring. Ember suicide dives through the second rope onto Dakota. Raquel decides that she's going to pop up from behind, but Rhea stops her from attacking Ember by sentoning off the apron. Rhea gets in finally. She slams Dakota down. Raquel tags in on Dakota's back. Raquel... This is not apparent to Rhea, who focuses all her energy on getting Dakota back into the ring. And Raquel sneaks in and sends Rhea out of the ring. We go to commercial. And by commercial, I mean that split screen thing where I just can't take notes. It's very confusing. My eyes can only focus on one thing at a time. When we come back, Raquel has Rhea in this full body sub. Rhea's back is on Raquel's. Her arms are stretched out as like Rhea's like pulling them. And her like Rhea's legs are like kind of cinched around Raquel's waist. And I said, this is the coolest fucking shit I've ever goddamn seen. Rhea finally powers out. Raquel then argues with Ember, giving Rhea a chance to kick Raquel upside the head. Kai gets in, goes for the guillotine submission, but Rhea doesn't allow her to cinch it in. She sends Dakota down into a facebuster into the canvas. Rhea tags Ember in, who drop kicks Dakota. Raquel tries to come in to interfere, and Ember ends up taking both women on at the same goddamn fucking time, which I said, oh wow, hi, welcome back. She throws Dakota Kai into Raquel's stomach. She Uranagis Raquel and then does a jackknife to Dakota. Kai starts getting moving again. She gets Raquel back in. Kai kicks Ember upside the head as Raquel holds her. Gonzalez... Oh, God, I gotta stop reading my notes, like, for real. Gonzalez... And a second time! Raquel then plants Ember into the canvas. Ember manages to somehow roundhouse Raquel. Holy shit. And then she gets Rhea in. Dakota gets in. Rhea pulls off an electric chair facebuster to Kai. Raquel tries to interfere on the cover. Kai manages the backstabber onto Rhea. There's a kick to Dakota's side, and this ends up taking Rhea ends up taking Raquel off the apron. Ember gets in, and she is a woman unchained. She clotheslines into Kai. Raquel tries to interfere. Rhea plants Raquel's face directly to the canvas, sends her out of the ring. Kai kicks Rhea. Then there's a really bad powerbomb to Dakota from Ember. Just looked a little sloppy. Looked like someone fucked someone up there.
Ember botched a lot today.
Well, it's her first match back.
Yeah.
I'm stressful. Ember goes up to the top rope. Raquel's punching her. Rhea then grabs Raquel. Dakota kicks Rhea, sending Rhea backwards, while Raquel is slung around her neck like a little mink stole. And Raquel, the weight that Rhea has on her back from Raquel, causes Rhea to go backwards, sending Raquel over the announce desk. Ember Moon, in spite of all those botch moves, pulls off a really fucking cool eclipse to Dakota to pin her and win. Also, thank you, Vic, for standing in the way of the camera when Rhea sent Raquel into the announce desk. It was stunning. You did a great job today, buddy. Real American hero right there.
But also, I don't know if we can just blame him. Like, why weren't any other cameras grabbing that? Why didn't the TD switch to another camera angle?
Right. There was clearly another camera grabbing that angle, or the other angle, because we saw it.
There's like 15 cameras in that arena.
Poor Vic, you can also see him in that shot from a different angle. You can see him turn around like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But do you mind riffing for about 5 seconds so I can pee and not rush through this last part of the podcast?
Oh boy, okay. I'll riff for a little bit. I'm gonna give my 10 worst wrestlers of 2020 so far.
You can also interview our guest host.
Nah, I'm good.
That's fair.
Alright, so are you all ready for... Last time I had to riff, I gave my top 10 wrestlers of 2020, which has been updated. But I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to update it too much before the Mike Romies, which will be the final installment of the top 10. So right now I'm going to give the bottom 10 wrestlers of 2020, which some of you may be shocked at who's in here. Let's... Alright, so some of this is unfortunate, but it's all based on records and some matches being more weighted than others. For example, title matches are weighted more, main events are weighted more, pay-per-view matches are weighted more, and then you get points for being fight of the night, stuff like that. So we're going to start at the best of the worst and then go to the worst of the worst. So number 10, we've got Kyle O'Reilly, which is very unfortunate given how amazing his last match was, but he doesn't have a great track record. And then Zelina Vega. Number 8, Andrade. Again, very unfortunate. 7, MVP. 6, Natalia. 5, Billie Kay. 4, Kofi Kingston. Oh wait, is that 10? 10. 10, Kyle O'Reilly. 9, Zelina Vega. 8, Andrade. 7, MVP. 6, Natalia. 5, Billie Kay. 4, unfortunately, Kofi Kingston. 3, Roderick Strong. Wait. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay. Alright. Never mind. I messed up a little bit. My bottom 10 wrestlers of 2020. I'm glad you were here for this too. I miscounted. I gave the bottom 12 instead. Here are the bottom 10 wrestlers of 2020.
Okay.
Andrade, MVP. This is from best of the worst to worst of the worst. So Andrade, MVP, Natalia, Billie Kay, Kofi Kingston, Roderick Strong, R-Truth, Angel Garza, King Corbin, and Bobby Fish.
Pain. Only pain.
Only pain.
Fuck. Also, I just want to say, now that I have an armchair, thanks to our wonderful housemate, I feel like a goddamn king. I feel like I own the fucking world. I also feel a lot shorter than I normally do, but all right.
Best of the night?
Shall we paw this ye, brother?
We shall. All right, so best promo of the night. No.
I tried.
All right, so we started off with Ember Moon in the ring, getting her reintroduction, and followed by the 4 women who want to challenge for the title, which was good. A nice little reintroduction. William Regal doing what he loves, which is setting up, more than 3-person matches. Then we have Drake, promo with Drake Maverick being interviewed outside, and Killian Dain shows up. Drake Maverick and Killian are hilarious together. We have an interview with Io, which is just okay. A promo with Undisputed Era, kind of talking about Kyle's match and then being attacked by Ridge. Very sweet, really funny. And then we had the promo with Toni Storm, which was lame. The promo with the Garganos, which I liked. I don't love where they're taking this with Indy Hartwell. I don't get it. It doesn't seem like Indy would have any motivation at all to be doing this, but okay. Then we have a promo with Dakota and Raquel, which was dumb. An interview with Cameron Grimes was also dumb, but in the funniest way possible. We had the aftermath of the Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn match, which was information if you just or on Twitter or watch the news at all. It was an interview with Ridge Holland where we got an interesting lead on where this whole storyline could be going. Speculating is always fun. Then we had a dumb interview with Damien Priest. We had another promo with the Garganos, which I really liked. But again, don't know why Indy Hartwell, out of all people. And then we had, lastly, Tim Tam Thatch's Unsanctioned Murder Time, which gave us the great Unsanctioned Murder Time, which we always love, but also added in the personal emotional element with Tim Tam reflecting on this. It being more than just him teaching, it being a reflection of himself. Surprisingly really like subtle and deep for wrestling.
It hurt me so bad. When he looked off, I was like,
I loved it.
Strong man has feeling, my favorite trope.
And that's my promo of the night, is Tim Tam Thatch's Unsanctioned Murder Time therapy session.
You know I can't go against Tim Tam Thatch arms and muscles ready for the match. You have to write all of that.
No, I'm writing Tim Tam Thatch's unsanctioned. I can't fit. Hold on. Unsanctioned therapy session.
That fucking like, especially because like every other unsanctioned murder time has been like just Tim Tam being like, "Hey, you little wusses, get in here and let you break your goddamn muscles off."
Except,
and then today it was just like,
there was that one where there was a guy who was supposed to look like Finn Balor, which was very much.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
It was symbolic of him being pissed off at Finn.
I don't have the energy or ability to look up one of his more recent unsanctioned murder times. But there was one a little recent. I think the most recent one outside of this one, unless that was the Drake or Damien Priest one, where he kind of went down a similar road as he went down today. That was, but more so he said like something along the lines of like, basically like still saying life is going to grind you down, but I'll do a better job of it.
That was the one with Finn Balor. The one with the Finn Balor lookalike.
Like that alone, I was like, damn, sick one-liner, Timmy. And then this one, I was like, okay. I guess we're crying in the club tonight. Sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's my boy.
But yeah, okay.
How he killed Matt Riddle off of NXT.
So now, Fighter of the Night?
Yeehaw!
So we started off with Tommaso versus Kushida, and I gotta pick Kushida. Tommaso looked great, and I'm realizing that he is amazing at selling his opponent's moves. The way, like, his attitude and how he reacts in general to pain is amazing. And he's also really great at just delivering moves as well. But Kushida was on a different level today. He kind of had that same energy and brutality that he had against Dream. Except he had a little more against Dream. Not so much today. But he was still great nonetheless. And then we had Everest versus Killian and Drake Maverick. I gotta go with Drake. Out of everyone, Killian may have landed like the bigger hits, but they weren't really impressive. They were just him slamming himself into his opponent. Drake looked really good, and he was pulling off a great performance as like the desperate tag partner who really loves his partner, but is like trying to win him over at the same time. Yeah, no, he did a fantastic job, although there just wasn't much in terms of a fight to really be impressed by.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Austin Theory versus Leon Ruff, and goddamn, Leon was great. Leon was awesome. He was so good for it being enhancement talent.
There's
Um,
no reason for
yeah.
no cause.
Call up Leon to the main roster. Give Leon the NXT championship. Leon Ruff was fantastic. The moves he was pulling off were amazing. But again, it was an enhancement talent fight, unfortunately. Leon was there to get his ass beat, although he got some great moves off in the meantime, like that amazing Hurricane Rana right off the bat.
That was that was gymnastics.
Yeah. And then we had Austin Theory versus Dexter Lumis. And goddamn is it great to have Dexter Lumis back because the man is amazing in the ring. He is one of the best that NXT has. I know I say that about Johnny Gargano, but Dexter Lumis is right up there.
His character is unparalleled. His acting is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I
Every move he makes shows off his character.
feel like knowing my luck though, as of like lately with men in the media, I'm gonna find out at some point that like he's also like an anti-masker or something. I'm just gonna be like, all right. I feel like I just love him too much.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, everything he did was perfect. I loved everything about Thatcher today. He was off the walls. He had his personality shining. He had his moves looking fantastic and brought some new ones too, which is perfect for it being his first match back in a while. This is the Dexter Lumis that we fell in love with when we started watching NXT, and I'm so glad he's back. Then we had Ridge Holland versus Danny Burch, and I guess I gotta go with Ridge. I don't know. There wasn't much to this fight to really pick from. And then we had Shotzi versus Xia, and I gotta go with Shotzi, I guess, because Xia didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, Dakota, Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley and Ember Moon. I gotta go with Rhea for this fight because Ember botched a lot of stuff, which I get because it was her first time back in 14 months. But still, botches are botches.
I have to imagine also being on that kind of like level where there's, first of all, people actually watching you now, like as far as like in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But also like there's gotta be like, I imagine ripping your ACL in half off the bone might come with some lasting effects when you go to perform again, as far as like just mentally, physically probably, but also mentally. Like you're probably like, oh, don't really want to do that again. I remember like this is how my ankle moved when like I did it. So I think that she just needs. I think she probably wasn't feeling as confident as she could, and I'm sure that in a couple of weeks or so we're gonna see, ye old Ember Moon.
Yeah, of course. She did have a great finisher, but
That was an RKO on steroids.
But Rhea did look fantastic today. She had so many great moments that are much better than she normally is. And she's normally great, but she was even better today.
By her. Like every week I feel like I see her and I'm like, that was better than last week. I also have a crush on her, so maybe I'm biased.
But with all that said, my pick for the fight of the night is my boy Dexter Lumis.
If you think I'm not going with you, you're silly. That's my man. My boy. He's not like super like, I mean, he's like Dexter Lumis would be on social media. He doesn't really talk about, oh guys, I'm healing really well, or like giving interviews or shit.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I feel like we've really been in the dark. Like, is he coming back yet? Are we getting Xavier Woods here? But to see him back in the ring
and performing the way he is too.
He's perfect. I love him.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like they really know how to write him because his story with Roddy was like perfect. And now
at the right fucking time.
Yeah.
If this were Raw or SmackDown, we would still be in that storyline.
Yeah. And I think the I will stand by the strap match between Roddy and Dexter is one of the best bookings that NXT has ever done.
I'm not gonna argue with
I'm not saying it's the best match, but it's the best booking.
best match.
So that leaves Fight of the Night tonight. And we started off with Tommaso versus Kushida. Really great fight that was interrupted halfway through. Or I can't even say halfway through. Interrupted by Dream, who I thought we wouldn't see with Kushida anymore. But we did. Really great fight all around. Loved Tommaso, loved Kushida. But the ending does kind of spoil it for me. I hate interrupted fights.
Unless I get that, but if it ends with Tommaso now wanting to rip Velveteen's arms off,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah. Imagine
I'm not gonna fight that.
Imagine a handicap match between Dream and Tommaso and Kushida.
If there's a God. I'm sure we will never get that. However, just to see a widow's bell on that fucker.
But after that we had Everrise versus Killian, Dain, and Drake Maverick. I can't stand Everrise. I can't. I really can't.
I don't blame you.
But Killian and Drake's relationship was fantastic and really came off really well. Drake started and ended the fight amazingly, especially with his whole dance routine at the end. And Killian's like nonchalant, I don't like you attitude just gets better and better, especially when Matt Martell was screaming at Drake, I don't like you, and Killian was just like, yeah.
No,
he's right.
He was screaming, he doesn't like you. Pointing at Killian.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
Also just the ending. When Killian was like, fine. And just threw Drake over his shoulder. I feel like that's you and me. Except I'm Drake Maverick.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
That's us like when we go out, back in the good old days when we go out. That was 100% like me vibing and you're just like, I'm not gonna leave you here to die. Let's go.
And then after that we had Austin Theory versus Leon Ruff. Leon had no business being that good. And then Austin Theory. It was such a quick match, I can't really give it anything. But then we had Austin Theory versus Dexter Lumis, which was kind of the opposite end of that spectrum. Dexter was fantastic. Austin Theory was Austin Theory. I want Dexter Lumis in like a big main event match. I do want him against Cameron Grimes. I think that would be a fantastic match to watch. Or maybe against somebody like
out.
Huh?
Cameron would puss out.
Imagine Dexter versus Drake Maverick.
And then Killian comes to the fucking rescue.
Oh yeah, like handicap match. That would be great. But yeah, no, the match was fantastic. I wish there was somebody besides Austin Theory, not for the sole reason that it's Austin Theory and he has a background, but rather Austin Theory is not super impressive to watch, and giving Dexter an opponent that would kind of match him either on a personality level or on a skill level would make for an even better match, because Roddy fits that bill perfectly. Roddy has the skill and has the personality to compare to Dexter Lumis.
I just think that this running list of guys in NXT that have just fucking obliterated Theory. It kind of makes me smile.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that we're not going to get Dexter versus Austin, next week. I'm sure we will not get that.
Right.
But for the moment.
And then after that, we had Ridge versus Danny Burch. Better than enhancement talent fight, just because of what happened after the match. But as far as the actual match itself, there wasn't really much there. Ridge versus Danny didn't really do much. After that, we had, again, Shotzi versus Xia Li, another enhancement talent match. Nothing really to it. The only interesting thing was Boa coming in at the end, but I have no idea what that's about. And then lastly, we had Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley and Ember Moon. Fantastic match, although you had Ember botching a little bit. Everybody looked fantastic. Dakota looked great in her own way. Raquel looked great in her own way. Rhea looked amazing in her own way. And Ember Moon still looked great, but she did botch a couple stuff, which the match still didn't really do great in quality because of that.
I was gonna say that Raquel looked so fucking strong, and so did Rhea. And I love seeing that shit. I love seeing my jacked ladies.
I loved everything about this match. I think it was a great main event. Definitely main event material. I'm excited to get Ember Moon back at her peak. Once she's kind of, fully gotten the reins and like put herself back into where she was prior to being injured. But with all that said, my pick for the fight of the night for NXT on October 7th, 2020 at 12:06 a.m. is Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley and Ember Moon.
The cat is snoring right now.
It's
so
disgusting.
Loud. I can fucking hear it.
That's disgusting.
I'm going with the same match.
Okay. Awesome.
I really liked it. I'm a sucker for women's wrestling that's wrestling. The fact that I didn't see a single slap in the face, and perhaps that was just me not paying attention, but I don't believe I saw a single slap in the fucking face. And again, this goes to my point of, please don't call them up to the main roster. Please.
Yeah. Although Ember Moon has been on the main roster before, and she has been great.
She has. And I know that she wants to fight Asuka for the belt at some point, because that was, I think, sort of an idea that had been floated around prior to Asuka getting the belt. Or a potential, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, as I say constantly, as I spoke about for almost an hour, I think, during the Takeover podcast, they do women's wrestling so well in NXT because it looks like it could also be men's wrestling. The fact that I'm getting like this goofy ass Drake Maverick Killian storyline and getting this Rhea Ripley, Ember Moon, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez match where it's just fucking intense, and you're like, holy shit, how does Raquel have all of Rhea on her fucking back, and she's just like squatting with her, basically. I was like...
And then you also have a storyline where Adam Cole is being hunted by a hitman.
I wish NXT was 3 hours long. I'm tired of Raw being 3 hours. It can be 2 now. Let's just swap the times. We'll have a good day. I'll be happy. You'll be happy. Everyone can be happy.
I don't want NXT to be desperate to fill the time, though.
I think that's probably what makes it so good, is that it's only 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it leaves me like, can I just have 5 more minutes, please? But I really liked it. I just, really wish I could see Beth Phoenix.
I don't know why she's not at the desk.
I know that we didn't watch NXT prior to pandemic times. The only stuff I watched prior to pandemic was when I was watching it back in college, and it was like SmackDown and Raw, which Beth was not a part of.
Mm-hmm.
I did not watch NXT until just recently. So I don't know if this is pandemic NXT or if this is Beth Phoenix just simply does not exist in the realm of NXT. But yeah, no, this match was fucking wild. I loved it. As much as I think Triple H has some really warped fucking values, my dude runs a pretty tight fucking ship as far as women's wrestling goes, and I respect that much.
Should we put that on Triple H, Shawn Michaels, or William Regal?
At this point, because Triple H has gotten under my skin just a little bit, I am more than happy to put that on Shawn or William at the same time, even.
You know, Shawn Michaels had he had like a really low period in his life.
Yeah, he had a. Oh, dude, there was a fucking in that video that I was telling you about where it was like 10 times wrestlers broke character mid match. There was one where during Shawn Michaels' really fucked up era of like existing, there was this Special Olympics kid who got over the barricade during a match, like during one of his matches, and like security was like being hostile to this kid, and Shawn Michaels came over and was like, hey, fuck off, first of all. Second of all, hey kid, how's it going? And it was really sweet. But Shawn Michaels definitely had his like time. And I know for a fact, didn't Shawn Michaels get into like a massive argument with someone backstage earlier this year?
I have no clue.
Oh my god. I don't know. Why don't you run it back and I'll look at it.
All right. Yeah, before we take this podcast into 3 hours, our best of the night, to run it back. Promo of the night, Tim Tam Thatchy Thatch's unsanctioned therapy session. Fight of the night, Dexter Lumis. Fight of the night, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley and Ember Moon. You want me to close this out too? Nope.
No, you don't have to. Shawn Michaels apparently got into an argument at NXT in your house, backstage.
Really?
Yeah, we talked about this during the podcast, I think, at one point. This was around, so this was when all the protests started happening. This was around that time where there was like a protest in like every major city, and like shit was very intense. And apparently, it was reported by Fightful that Shawn got into an argument with another producer, who no one knows who it is, but who had basically started the argument by saying something along the lines of everyone in America is treated equally. And Shawn Michaels was like, well, maybe not though. And then I said, Shawn Michaels, my unproblematic fave? So yes, I'm very happy that I figured that out. Anywho, let me close out the episode. So if you tuned in, thank you for tuning in. And also, I'm gonna play favorites here. Thank you, Mike, for tuning in. I don't know if you're still with us, but if you're not, one way or the other, thank you. We always love when our friends show up. And yeah, let's continue on the 5-minute Elizabeth Thanks People string. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. If you tuned in tonight, awesome. We appreciate it. We always love having people around. And if you tune in later, awesome. Thank you. If you're in the future now and the Yankees haven't made it to the World Series, just know I've probably cried at least 14 times. Woo! All right, your turn.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed, please hit that follow button.
I just want to say special thanks to our special guest co-host, who we never should have paid in advance because she did absolutely nothing tonight.
Slept on the job the whole time.
Let me just bring it
Oh, boy.
around.
Something's gonna fall.
Thank you, Miss Pepita, for coming on the show tonight. It was really nice of you. We really enjoyed having you. Okay, continue. I want to make sure that we got all of her stuff in that rider out beforehand.
Hit that follow button if you enjoyed, and hit the little bell so you're always notified whenever we go live. And if you follow us on Twitter, you will also be notified when we go live, and that's at the Pinfall Cast. We also post our picks for Fighter and Fight of the Night there, so you'll never miss who we picked. And follow our personal Twitters as well. I'm at the Mark Cameron, Liz at Eliza Elaine23. And if you missed part of this podcast and want to check out previous podcasts, we have a YouTube channel, the Pinfall Podcast on YouTube, where we archive all of our podcasts, including one of my favorites we did recently, the NXT TakeOver 31, which we got drunk. We went over all of our predictions, and it turned into a wonderful mess. So definitely check that out. It's 3.5 hours long.
Worth it.
Definitely worth it. Go check it out. You won't want to miss it. And we'll see you on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. And the draft.
I'll have new clothes by then. I probably won't be wearing my old sweaters.
Bye.